What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's had an excellent week. The weather in New Jersey yesterday was sunny but very hot, and now it's going to rain all weekend again for like the third weekend in a row, which is just killing me. But I know there's always worse things. Jets mandatory minicamp has come and gone. OTAs are over, and now it's a long, painful week for training camp where you hope the players just stay healthy and out of trouble. And when you lose players like Aaron Rodgers, C.J. Mosley, Devontae Adams, you wonder where the leadership is going to come in the locker room. And when Aaron Glenn was first hired, many thought he'd bring in some of his own players, like Rex Ryan brought in Bart Scott and Jimmy Leonard. You always had those guys that kind of convey your message in the locker room. But a pleasant surprise has developed for the Jets, and some of the young guys, Bree Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, are taking on that role and embracing it, and it's having a trickle-down effect in the locker room. Again, I understand it's early on, it's only June 13th, but this is an excellent sign for a young team trying to find its way, especially when you consider the contract situations where all these guys could have held out, could have been immediate distractions, could have said a lot of things to stir the pot, and they've done the complete opposite. Yesterday, Sauce Gardner met the media, and he talked about, I want to be here for my team. I want to learn the defense. I want to be the best player I can be. My agent will take care of the negotiations. Obviously, we all know he wants to be the highest paid corner in football, but he's like, that takes care of itself. I want to be here. And he also talked about his leadership, how being more consistent and being the example for his teammates, which is just awesome to hear from him, because in the past, I think when these guys first got here, they were all, anointed by Jet fans, but they kind of had to look around and find their way and look to other players to kind of steer the ship and guide the team. And now they realize, for Sauce year 4, that I've got to be that guy now. A.Z. Thomas is looking up to me to see how I should do things. Malachi Moore is looking up to me. I got to be that role model for his team to elevate our entire secondary and our defense. Garrett Wilson, the same thing. And I've genuinely been impressed by their press conferences and how they handle themselves, especially in the last couple of years. They've come off a little bit weird, not weird, but maybe, outspoken on social media for a lot of the wrong reasons. And now it's all about team, supporting Coach Glenn, and just winning. Hard work, winning, and competition. Garrett Wilson said the same thing, where he's like, listen, I got to be a better player. I can think about contract, but in order to get my contract, I've got to play at a much higher level, be a lot more consistent, be a better blocker. And the other thing they've all talked about is how Coach Glenn talks to them individually, one-on-one, personally, and say, listen, I want to learn who you are. I want to know what makes you tick. But I want to point out all the things that can make you better to let you get paid as much as you can. I know Salah said that in the past, but you're hearing more and more from these players that this regime is all about attention to detail. There is no gray area. They're demanding, and they know exactly what they want, how you want to do it, and that's how you go about doing business. There's a legit Jets way of doing business now, or a Jets standard of play that they're all understanding, and they're embracing it. Bree Hall, like I talked about in my last interview, was tremendous, where he said, listen, I had an off year last year. In order to earn my contract, I got to play a lot better. I can't be sitting around demanding contracts. I've got to be in the best shape of my life and be a great team player and produce and earn my spot. And he talked about, listen, I've got to earn my reps here. This regime inherited me. They don't know what I can do. They think they know what I can do, but I've got to prove it day in and day out. And when you have this message resonating all throughout the locker room from your biggest stars in your team, now Justin Fields is a little more low key, it's like kind of soft spoken, where he's not that big headline guy. When you have these guys, which the fans are used to hearing from and going to for their big quotes, the media goes to them for their big quotes. That's all they're talking about. Even Quincy Williams saying the same thing, where again, a guy that's outplayed his contract, more than due for another extension, saying the same thing. I'm here, I'm reporting. I want to be a much better player. It's all about team. Quincy Williams, it's just so refreshing. And again, everybody's like, oh, nothing matters till the games come. Dude, it's June. We can only react to the process as it plays out. But this is an encouraging sign from a young team that is trying to literally change the culture and get rid of that losing mindset. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Aaron Glenn has been very good about saying, we don't care what happened last year, 3 years, the last 14 years. None of this matters. The moment matters. Going forward matters. He's not talking about winning playoff games or championships or winning week 1. He's like, we're winning today and we're winning tomorrow. And we're building up a positive attitude in this locker room. We're not complaining. We're not bitching and moaning. We're not the woe is me Jets. And that's something that Quincy Williams said to Aaron Glenn. So you know what? You know how things are working? Nobody's bitching and moaning. Because what they're talking about makes sense. And another thing a lot of players are mentioning is having a lot of former players on the staff is paying dividends too, because they've been there, done that. If Aaron Glenn talks to you and said, listen, man, I was there. I did this already. I went through this. Or Dre Bly or whoever else, you have that one-on-one experience. and that's pivotal too. So this is a really encouraging sign for the Jets. I mean, we are so due to have things turn around and just have some football gods bless us with a fun, exciting season with a team that is hard-nosed, physical, disciplined. And I cannot wait to see how things are handled in training camp when the team fights adversity, because right now there's no pads on. Pads changes everything. Like I said, I've been fortunate enough to go to practices for 14, 15 years now. I've seen it all. I go back to the Parcells days. I was there for 2 days. And the physicality of practice changes things. You get irritated. Like, how do your mindset? Do you get disrupted? Do you get scared? Do you get timid? Or do you rise to the occasion? And Aaron Glenn is making a commitment to physicality. He's putting emphasis on tackling. Where it's like, listen, we want to be a physical team. You know how you get that way? You actually practice tackling. You practice blocking. It can't always be easy, even with this new practice schedule where it's like, we're going to be demanding. We're going to demand that you tackle better, you block better, and we're going to do that hands-on approach where we are working technique day in and day out. Steve Wilkes talked about it too. So that's refreshing. Where over the last couple of years, how many times have we seen lousy tackling, bad angles, all these different things, and it's just like the Jets defeated themselves. They would self-destruct. And now the Jets are trying to find a way to, kind of erase that mindset, erase those bad habits, and establish new ones. So it's going to be a quiet time of year now. I'm probably not going to do a lot of content over the next month or so as we get ready for camp. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Do some streams from time to time, and I'll talk to you guys later.